Welcome to the Lex Buds and Pick and Roll podcast. I'm one of your two co-hosts, Brandon.
And with you as always is Tyler.
Tyler, well, not as always, Tyler.
It's been a few weeks.
I know! You look so different. Are you really Tyler? Or is this some strange man that just walked into our home studio?
I could be. It's been a while, man.
Oh, my goodness. Well, first of all, we've got a jam-packed show. Okay, we've got a lot to catch up on, a lot of sports. There's a ketchup shortage, for Pete's sake, Tyler, and I'm nervous about it. We've got to talk about this on the show. A lot of things going on. But first of all, I think it's important to let our listeners know that you and I, we both took different trips during spring break, right, with our kids. And I've been sick for like the last week and a half with a sinus infection, TMI. And I'm still dealing with it. I love Kentucky spring, but by George, this is driving me crazy. It's killing me.
Yeah, you actually texted me and said you sounded like Peter Brady last week, which
I did.
I think we still should have recorded because just listening to you try to crack through that voice like Peter Brady did.
Yeah, Tyler, I felt like I was going through puberty again. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous, and it shouldn't happen to a 38-year-old man. And I told you, I said I can't even get out my words.
Yeah, so we had our vacation. If you've been looking for the podcast and haven't seen a new one in a while, we were on vacation. Then last week Brandon was sick. So it's been a while, but we are ready. I'm excited for this.
You know what we're going to do on this show, Tyler? We're not going to take any breaks. The people demand the material. So we're going to do this show in one take. No breaks in between.
No breaks.
We're going from sports to news and to whatever the hell else we want to do because that's how we roll.
What if I need another bourbon? Can I just pour it while we're talking?
Yes.
Is that acceptable?
That is perfectly acceptable. It's actually encouraged, Tyler. But before we dig in, before we get our teeth into this episode, tell me about your week. I haven't seen you, Tyler. Literally catch me up on what you've been doing this week.
Well, this week was back to work from vacation, so I'm going to go back to the previous week when we were having more fun on our family trip.
Ooh, okay.
We went to Universal Studios.
Good.
Spent 4 days at Universal Studios.
Oh my God. Did you really?
And still didn't get everything in.
Oh my goodness.
Let me tell you what I like about Universal Studios.
Okay.
They are hanging in there with the E.T. ride. They still have, that ride is, 30, 40 years old now? I guess about 30 years old.
Yeah, and it's wonderful.
and it's my kid's favorite ride, honestly. But I give them a lot of credit. There have been a lot of movies come out in the last 30 years. But by golly, they are sticking, they are getting their money's worth. They're all in the green on the E.T. ride now.
Now you know who's getting their money's worth is you because the E.T. ride is fantastic. I love it. It's so relaxing.
Yeah, our kids don't even know what E.T. is, but they love the ride. It was great. And what I don't like, there are way too many people at theme parks.
Really?
They're so crowded. And of course, the big attraction at Universal is the Harry Potter world.
Of course.
Which I'm going to freely grant you, and I'll admit this to the audience, I've never read a Harry Potter book. I've never seen a Harry Potter movie. I know absolutely nothing about Harry Potter. I was not prepared for the level of obsession that people have for Harry Potter. I mean, we're just getting to the park, like going through security, and there are people in robes and people carrying the little wands around. I'm like, what is happening? We're not even to Harry Potter world, and I'm already surrounded by people dressed like Harry Potter. It was crazy.
It is crazy. And there are people upset. That's why they sell all those wands. They have the wand stores. They have the butterbeer, which you found out doesn't actually have alcohol in it. Nor do I think it has butter.
The biggest disappointment of the whole trip. We're standing in line to get butterbeer, and the line is like down the street. It's like 50 people long. I'm like, honey, what kind of beer is this? Is this like a light beer or a dark beer? And she just looks at me like, it's not beer, honey. Like they give it to little kids. It's not alcoholic. Like, well, why are we standing in line then? Not even actual beer. It's false advertising. It was the biggest downer of the trip for me. But I will say, Harry Potter World, despite me knowing nothing about it, was still pretty awesome. I mean, the decor, all the sets and everything, I felt like I was literally in the land of Harry Potter. My biggest complaint, though, we could never get a straight answer on when the dragon was going to breathe fire. The dragon from Harry Potter, it would periodically through the day, it would start to growl, and then this big eruption of fire would come out. and we try to ask the people who work there, like, hey, when's the dragon go off? And they won't tell you.
No, they're not allowed. It's part of the sorcery, Tyler. It's part of the magic. They're not allowed to tell you.
Yeah, so we, you wait around and doesn't do anything. So finally, I think the last day, we finally got to saw the fire come out of the dragon. It was pretty awesome.
That's amazing. I love Universal Studios. That sounds like a great trip.
Yeah. So how was your trip? I know you
Tyler?
went to Arizona, and, and
Tyler,
what's been happening since then?
So, Tyler, I can tell you what's happened since then. I've been sick. But before that, we went to Sedona, Arizona for about 4 or 5 nights. I don't even remember. We did some hot air ballooning on Easter in the desert, which was really cool. We climbed a bunch of rocks, climbed some, I was going to really say cliffs. We didn't go cliff, or anything like that. We didn't climb cliffs. But we climbed up some rocks that made me clench up a little bit.
Oh, wow.
And my kids were just walking up. Come on, Dad, hurry. Why are you taking so long? I'm like, dude, this is scary. If you fall off, you're dead. Come on, Dad, just follow me. This is my 7-year-old.
Kids have no fear.
Okay.
None.
Yeah, so I literally just followed my 7-year-old around the whole time, and it was a good time. Really enjoyed the trip. Sedona has some scenery that you just don't see really anywhere in the world. It's really strange, but it's very remote. You feel like you're removed from everything on the planet.
That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. And then I got back, and I've had a sinus infection for a week and a half. Again, TMI, nobody cares about that. I'm just telling you that, hopefully I won't hack and cough while I'm on the air here. I'm going to do my best. And I think the bourbon is actually going to burn out whatever's going on in here. Even though it's in my nose, I think through some sort of osmosis thing that it will travel up through my nose and burn that out too. That's what I'm hoping.
I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
That's how it works. Well, that's how it's got to work. Because we've got a jam-packed show, Tyler, and I think we should just start out with sports.
All right, let's do it. You got the first one, so tell us what we got.
Well, people are going to laugh at this, but we haven't talked about the national championship game, Tyler.
Yeah, that was like,
now,
2 weeks ago
Truth
now?
be told, I know you all know the results of the game, but you know that I didn't watch much of the NCAA tournament, Tyler. But I did catch the final game and watch Baylor absolutely throw a beatdown on Gonzaga. Surprised the heck out of me. Baylor dominated pretty much from beginning to end. Tyler, did you watch the game? What were your thoughts on the Final Four in general?
Man, I was so excited for this game because how long has it been since we had the two best teams make it to the title game? So I was ready. I had my Coke, I had my popcorn, I had everything set up, ready to go for the game, and then it's like 9-0 right out of the gate. I'm like, well, boy, this party really died.
You had your Dumb and Dumber moment where they kill the owl.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it was a destruction from beginning to end, from the opening tip. It blew me away. But I think Gonzaga wasted a lot of energy in that Final Four game. I know people say, well, they had 2 days to get over it. That was a lot of expended energy in an overtime game in such a dramatic win. It has an impact, whether you say it does or not.
Oh, yeah. I had a feeling that kind of was going to happen. We hate to go back to 2015, but Wisconsin had a battle with Kentucky. Duke cruised past Michigan State. Duke was able to win the title game, I think, because they were more fresh. Gonzaga had to play an overtime game, the late game on Saturday night. Mm-hmm. They were just exhausted. They were already physically and athletically outmatched, mm-hmm. But I think that game Saturday was. I think they just wore them out.
Yeah, it was a beatdown, but it gets you excited. You see a team like Baylor that didn't really necessarily rely on one and dones. I mean, these are guys that were older that just came in and dominated, and it may be a blueprint for what our teams are going to look like. Tyler, I don't know. I have no clue what our roster is going to look like. I don't know anything about our team, but we'll get into that.
Well, it is crazy. When you have the guys who are athletic and can actually shoot the ball, it's amazing how
what a concept.
Good you can be.
I don't.
Maybe we should try to recruit players like that.
Well, if they have the right wingspan, I'm sure we will. Tyler, what we got next?
All right. So getting into some Kentucky news, Brandon. We have had some roster additions recently, but we've also had some roster losses.
Yes.
And there was one loss in particular, and then also another loss where a kid committed to another school that we didn't offer. So I want to ask you, which one of these upset you more? Was it Devin Askew, our point guard for last year, deciding to transfer, or was it the fact that Jordan Powell, a Kentuckian that pretty much everybody in the state wanted, transferring from Auburn, Calipari did not even offer him a scholarship, and he instead commits to the University of Tennessee. So, Brandon, which one upset you more, Askew transferring or Calipari not offering Jordan Powell?
I'm going to go option C, Tyler. Neither one of them bothered me. because, number one, Devin Askew transferring, by all accounts, he wanted to come back and he wanted to stay through the process. I was excited to see a sophomore year Devin Askew, even though he struggled. But that cued me to think, okay, there's something else in the works here. All right, somebody has probably talked to him and said, we are getting X player or Y player, and that there may not be a place for him. Okay, so that's what that indicates to me. And the same thing with Jordan Powell. To be honest, I mean, it would be great to have him. We obviously need shooting. He's from Kentucky. But at the same time, if we're not offering him, hopefully that means it's because there's better options on the table.
Well, I sure hope so.
I mean, that's what that has to be it. Otherwise, why wouldn't you offer it?
I mean, we've not signed anybody in the last couple of weeks. I was upset by both of these. I mean, as much as we struggled with shooting, to not offer somebody who can shoot the ball, I don't get it.
But do you just take them because they can shoot the ball if they don't fit the system? What if they, Calipari likes defense. He likes lengthy guys, 7-foot wingspans, all that kind of stuff. Maybe he's trying to find that magic bullet of 7-foot wingspan athletic guy that can shoot.
That can shoot. Well, good luck to him if that's what we're going for. That upset me, but I was much more upset with the Askew transfer. We committed so much to this guy last year. I mean, he was our starting point guard. He played 30 minutes a game, and let's be honest, he should not have been the starter. We were much better when he was on the bench. We were better with Mintz at point guard. Mm-hmm. So Calipari was loyal to a fault with this kid. And I know he didn't produce at the level that any of us wanted, but I think we were all kind of okay with the fact, okay, he's going to come back. Maybe this year, maybe by his junior year, he'll be a contributor. I think everybody was okay with that. This kid said he was different, that he was not going to transfer like all the other West Coast kids.
Yeah.
It reminded me, I like to make my movie analogies on this show.
I love it, please.
I'm going to throw a reference to Superbad.
Oh.
You know the scene where Jonah Hill, they're at the big party at the end, and he's kind of confessing his love to Emma Stone.
Right.
And he was like, this was my one shot. This was my one night to try to make you my girlfriend for the summer.
I love that line.
And Devin Askew had to feel like every other player coming to Kentucky, you get 1 year. You get 1 year to prove it to us. And so I feel like maybe he was kind of like Jonah Hill in that he realizes, okay, it doesn't have to be tonight. I can come back next season. I can come back, work on my game, and become a contributor. And kind of like Emma Stone's character is like, hey, I don't have to become your girlfriend tonight, And they kind of have this moment, and then Jonah Hill just passes out and headbutts her in the face. What the fork? That was my reaction. I felt like Emma Stone getting headbutted by Jonah Hill in Superbad when Askew was transferring.
Wow. That is a heck of an analogy, Tyler. I can't follow that, but coincidentally, Tyler, Devin Askew is transferring to Texas, which is kind of an interesting move because in our next topic, we're going to talk about Chris Beard taking the head coaching position at Texas, and Hubie Brown. I said Hubie Brown.
Hubert
Davis has taken the job as the new coach at the University of North Carolina. Tyler, 2 new hires, 2 totally different positions. Who do you think is going to be more successful in their new job? Hubert Davis or Chris Beard?
Well, everybody has, first of all, pretty much mocked the Hubert Davis hire at North Carolina, and rightfully so. I mean, the guy's never been a college head coach. Chris Beard is kind of the hot name right now, the up-and-comer. And honestly, I think a lot of Kentucky fans would, if Calipari were to leave today, Chris Beard would be the number 1 choice for that. So I think that's kind of, that opportunity has now gone with him taking this job. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to throw a surprise. I think Hubert Davis has more success because he
really
is at a school that already has the pedigree. I mean, North Carolina has been a successful program for, 50 years, 60 years?
Yeah.
When's the last time Texas did anything? I know Chris Beard is the up-and-comer, and if we're just ranking the coaching ability, I think Chris Beard is a better coach.
Oh, no doubt.
But you don't have to have as much talent as a coach to be successful at a program like Carolina. I'm going to actually say Hubert Davis has more success.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with Chris Beard on this one. Hubert Davis, what a way to get your first head coaching job. This has a lot of reminiscence to Matt Doherty, to me. This is what it looks like to me. We saw what first-time coaches do at major programs. Penny Hardaway at Memphis rings a bell. Everybody thought, oh, Penny, that should be a perfect natural fit. No, it doesn't work that way. You actually have to have some talent as a coach. So I'm surprised that UNC hired Hubert Davis. So I'm going with Chris Beard on this one. He's the hot name for a reason, and Texas will invest the money to make sure he stays there and provide the facilities and the recruiting budget to make things happen. If he succeeded where he was at already, imagine what he can do at Texas. So I'm going Chris Beard.
That's true. If he does get it rolling at Texas, watch out.
No kidding.
All right, Brandon, the NCAA has proposed some possible new rule changes for the upcoming basketball season. So I want to just read through a couple of these, and you give me your reaction.
I'll give you a thumbs up or down.
Yeah, are we for or against these possible rule changes?
Do it. Crank them out.
So the first one is there would no longer be any 1-and-1 free throws. Everything would be a double bonus, and you would reach the double bonus each time a team gets their fifth foul in each 10-minute segment. So the first 10-minute segments, once you get your fifth foul, the other team gets 2 shots. And then once you reach the 10-minute segment, it starts over. And then once you hit your fifth foul again, the other team gets the double bonus. Brandon, what say you on no more 1-and-1s?
So first of all, 1-and-1s are some of the most dramatic shots in the college basketball game. And I know they don't get really used at any other level of sport for basketball, but, I mean, it's intense. It's like it makes the first shot so valuable. Think of how many NCAA tournament games you have a guy on the line with a 1-and-1. They're down by 2. He knows he has to hit that first one or he's toast. That's a lot. That's great. That's something unique to college basketball, and it's something that we should keep. When it comes to resetting the fouls, why don't we just go to quarters?
Yes.
I mean,
agreed.
I agree that it's good to reset them, but just reset the game. Reset the clock. Yeah. You know what I mean? So reset it at 10 minutes. Let's have 4 10-minute quarters. The women's college game has already gone to quarters. I think college basketball and men's is the only thing that doesn't do quarters. Just do it. Reset. I'm fine with the reset. Just do it and reset the whole game.
Yeah, I agree with you. It is such a different mindset. I mean, and you and I both played basketball in high school. Mm-hmm. It is just a total different mindset when you're going to the free throw line and you know you've got 2 shots coming versus the 1-and-1. It just adds that little bit of pressure.
Man, talk about dramatic television. I mean, if I'm the people that are hosting the NCAA tournament on TV, I say, man, give me those 1-and-1s all day. Those are money makers.
Absolutely. All right, the second, there were many rule changes, but I thought these were the most interesting too. Okay. So we'll go to the second one, which is, as it currently stands, you foul out on your 5th foul. That would now change. You would be allowed 6 fouls in college basketball, but a few restrictions on this. You could have no more than 3 in the first half. You could have 2 fouls in the first half, and then you could have up to 4 fouls in the second half. But if you only have 0 or 1 fouls in the first half, you only could get 4 fouls in the second half. So that means theoretically you could foul out with only 4 fouls.
Too complicated. You should be able to explain the rule in an elevator speech here to 10 seconds and somebody understand it. It's a foul. That's it. Just move it to 6 fouls and be done with it. Change the game to 4 quarters, 6 fouls. What's so hard about this? Why do we have to have all these little stipulations? You should be able to explain the rule. Imagine all the new college basketball fans on TV trying to watch. Well, he's got 3 fouls, but he did this in the first half and did this. It doesn't make any sense. It's like Calipari's thing. Well, I didn't play in the first half, so I can't play in the second half. It makes about as much sense as that. Just keep things simple. Clean and simple. Couldn't be any easier. Keep the 1-and-1, cut the games into quarters, and do 6 fouls because people want to see the star players play, and they go to the bench with 2 fouls in the first half in way too many games. That needs to stop. Just move it to 6. Stop it with the little stipulations.
Yeah, and just imagine the scenario where, imagine we're playing Duke in the national championship game, and our star player fouls out with his 4th foul, but Duke's best player is still in the game after picking up his 5th foul.
No, he's still in the game because he drew a charge, and the referee fell for it. That's what it is. Yeah. That's how Duke players stay in the game.
That's
you
true.
know this.
Yeah,
you know
that's
this.
True.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
All right, very interesting. Tyler, this one was kind of interesting. So Major League Baseball is moving the All-Star Game out of Atlanta, Georgia, because of the new voting restrictions put forth in Georgia. That's kind of scary to me. But I'm curious, what are your thoughts on teams and really businesses pressuring the political agenda in any state, not just Georgia? What are your thoughts on that?
I can already tell you we're probably going to have opposing viewpoints on this one. But, I mean, don't businesses already choose what state or what country they're going to locate their headquarters in based upon that state's laws? I mean, they locate where there are lower taxes. They locate where they're getting more tax breaks. I mean, this is something that I feel is already in place. I mean, the Major League Baseball is a business. So they have the right as a business to choose where they are going to have their events located. Georgia, I know it stinks for you. It's a big economic hit, I'm sure. But, I mean, that is Major League Baseball's right. Okay? If you want Major League Baseball to come to your state, they don't have to. If you want them to come, you need to have laws that they want to be a part of.
Okay, so I agree with you in the sense that they have the right to do it, and I don't disagree with that. I guess my point is I think there's a difference between locating your business in a smart place and advocating politically. I think there's a difference between going to a state and setting up because you like the tax law and then actually advocating for law changes. I think there's a big jump there. And I feel like politics has been injected into every living thing that we do. Like, we can't make a decision without looking at political ramifications. And I just hate it in general. I'm not a fan of it just personally. It feels like everything, every game, every NBA game, every college game, we have to, okay, what are the political implications? I miss the days when I could just watch a game because I enjoyed the teams. I miss watching the All-Star game when I didn't have to worry about the announcers going on for 45 minutes on the political implications of a voting. I'm kind of tired of it. Just me personally, I'm just giving my honest opinion. I just get tired of it. Politicizing everything just bothers me. Yeah. And I think there's a difference between locating your business and political, basically becoming an activist for things.
Yeah. I mean, and every action has a consequence. But Georgia passing this, changing their voting requirements, there are consequences to that. And then also same thing for Major League Baseball. Yeah, they have the right to decide they don't want to have their All-Star game in Georgia, but there are also consequences. And they are probably going to lose a lot of fans because of this. And, consequences to people's actions.
I know. I just wish we could stop. It's like the Chick-fil-A thing. I just want to go eat the freaking sandwich. I don't care about the political leanings of the owners or the customers. I just want you to cook my chicken and eat it. I want to watch a guy hit a home run out of a ballpark. All the days when we could just relax and have fun.
I get it.
No more.
All right. Well, let's end this on a good note for segment 1, Brandon.
Let's do it.
We had some big news in UK football recruiting this weekend. So I'm going to give you a little quiz. I'm going to give you a fill in the blank.
Ooh, okay. I love fill in the blank, Tyler. I haven't done this in a long time.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. I love football on TV. Shots of Gina Lee. Hanging with my friends.
And twins!
Yes. Kentucky got not one, but 2 commitments on Friday night from twins Keaton and Destin Wade from Nashville, Tennessee. Each is considered a 4-star, top 300 prospect. Keaton is the 18th ranked outside linebacker. Destin is ranked as the number 23 athlete. And Kentucky has now moved up to the top 10 in recruiting because they got a 3rd commitment on Saturday from a top 100 offensive tackle, Keontae Goodwin. Brandon, we just got 3 of the biggest signings in the history of the school in 48 hours. How do you feel? How big is this? And, follow-up question, who are the most famous twins in history?
Well, first of all, can we just start building a statue for Mark Stoops? I want to start a fund right now. Build the statue for Stoops. Now, you and I were hard on him this year because we lost a lot of games. But truth be told, in the grand scheme of things, we did better than a lot of other teams. He's taken us to a place that we've never been before. And I just want to celebrate everything. I would like to celebrate this with some fava beans and a nice bottle of Chianti. Good one.
Oh.
See what I did there? Boom.
Nice.
I'm going to go home for the night. You finish the show. But, I mean, this is huge. The guy's taking us to places we've never been, going into states that we normally didn't recruit in, and beating other teams. We're beating out Alabama, Ohio State, Florida for these recruits. I mean, give me a break. And we took the twins right from the backyard of Tennessee. I absolutely love that. Build Stoops a statue. As far as the best twins in UK history, I hope it's these guys. But, I mean, it's got to be I mean, there's not that many that I can think of. It's got to be the Harrison twins is the first one I think of.
Yeah. What about just in all of society, like in pop culture, who most famous twins?
Oh my! Now that's a lot of pressure, Tyler. I mean, do you have anybody that comes to mind right off?
I think there's an obvious answer.
Oh, can you give me a clue? If it's obvious, I feel like now I'm going to feel like I'm stupid if I don't get the right answer. Give me a clue. You don't even have the answer.
They were on a show that is also a hand you could have in cards.
Full House.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen, right? They've got to be the most famous twins, right?
That's a good one.
Is there a bigger set of twins?
No, that's going to be it. That's the answer. They're successful in every aspect of life: TV, movies, fashion, money in general. So you're right.
Yeah.
That is the answer.
I thought so.
Yeah, that's impressive.
But the Coors Light commercial has been stuck in my head for the last 48 hours, so I had to make sure it is now stuck in our audience's head as well.
I love burritos at 4 a.m., parties that never end.
Dogs that love cats and twins. I mean, that's just the best jingle ever.
It is pretty good. I like that one, Tyler.
We need to see if we can get the guys who wrote that on our show.
That would be good.
Just genius.
Yeah, you know what else is genius, Tyler? We're going to transition straight into our news segment. Right? Do you need a refill on your bourbon?
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's up to you. It's getting low. It makes me nervous when I see your bourbon low. So you tell me.
Well, I do have the first topic for segment 2, so maybe I'll go ahead and do this one.
Let's do it.
What do you got? I may pour a refill as you introduce the next one.
Let's do it.
All right, so we're going to go on to our news. No breaks. We are pedal to the metal for this show, nonstop. Segment 2, news. Here we go. All right, Brandon, dozens of protesters showed up in Frankfurt on Wednesday, and they were upset about Governor Beshear's announcement that COVID capacity restrictions in the state would not be lifted until the state has reached 2.5 million vaccinated people. Currently, there's about 1.6 million Kentuckians who have received the vaccine. So if my math is correct, that means we still need about 900 more thousand. Protesters say this is a vaccine mandate. The governor says this is the only way to end the pandemic. Brandon, whose side are you on?
Let me just say this. This was a dumb move, just politically speaking. If I'm Beshear's advisors, I'm like, dude, why would you say something like this? Even if it's what you really thought. Everything was going so well. We were getting people vaccinated at a rate that was higher than most other states in the country. Why inject this in there? Because now you have made it a point to where you're saying to businesses, we're going to hold you hostage until you do what we ask. We were already on a good rate. Why do it? It doesn't make any sense to inject this into it. If I'm his advisor, I'm saying, dude, why? Everything was going so well. You could have just stayed quiet, and people would have kept getting vaccinated. What's the problem? It didn't make any sense politically to me to stumble like that.
Yeah, I mean, do you think we're going to? First of all, do you think we're going to get to 2.5 million?
I don't know.
Because first of all, how many adults over the age of 18 are in Kentucky?
We don't have that.
Isn't it like I think it's like
we're between 3 and 4 million people.
I think it's about 3 million.
Yeah.
So that means 2.5 out of 3 million. I don't know what percentage that is. Whatever. That's a high percentage. What if we don't get there? What if we don't get to 2.5 million?
Well, here's the other thing is, we talk about science and the governor talks about science, which he should. I would love to see the study that says that this percent of people need to get the vaccine. It seems arbitrary. This is my problem with a lot of the stuff. He's done a very good job in some areas, but in some it's just like he picks and chooses arbitrarily a certain number or a certain capacity or a certain type of business that's going to succeed or not. It's just, where does this number come from? You know what I mean? Where is it coming from? I haven't seen any CDC studies that say this percent of people need to be vaccinated by this date in order to lift these mandates.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I know there's got to be a number that exists. I mean, I'm sure the CDC has released like, all right, we need this percentage of the population to be vaccinated. I'm sure that percentage is out there. I don't know what it is or if this is the same percentage that Governor Beshear. But I mean, I would hope that this is based on scientific evidence that shows we need X percent of the population to be vaccinated. I'm hoping he's not just throwing numbers out there.
And is there data to suggest that all these bars and restaurants being open is leading to spread? Because everything that we've seen it happens in the household. That's the other thing that I don't get is we're closing all the businesses, but most of the spread is happening in the households during social gatherings. Help me out here. Help me help you.
I mean, he's trying to bribe people. I think essentially is what it comes. I mean,
I didn't want to say it out loud, but you're right. It's
don't we do this as parents all the time? Don't we try to bribe our kids? You know, he's trying to get the state to take the vaccine.
Let me get that on record. Tyler is accusing Governor Beshear of bribery, so I'm going to put that out. That's definitely going out as a clip.
But we all do it. I mean, as parents, we all do it. When I was a teacher, I used to try to bribe my kids all the time. Like, hey, I'll give you extra recess if if everybody passes this test. I mean,
but do you play those kind of games with people's livelihood? That's the question. Can you play that kind of high stakes game with your child? Yes, because worst case scenario, they're just going to pout and go up to their room. You do this with the economy. People lose their jobs, go out of business, get depressed, get divorced, and everything. I mean, it's a total mess. Do you play this game in this scenario? This is why I think it was a dumb move. I think he's done some good things. I think we've done a really good job getting this vaccine out, and I think he has a lot to do with that. So I give him credit for that. But this was unnecessary. It was an unnecessary step because now, visually speaking, you've got the government mandating people to get vaccinated in order for life to return. That's a bad look. Just in general, if I'm talking politically.
Yeah. Well, by the time this is all said and done, Governor Beshear is not going to be the only one that has a mandate for getting the vaccine. I think we're looking at down the road, you're going to have to show you've had a vaccine to get on an airplane. I mean, all this stuff is coming. I mean, so what?
I agree with you, but there's a difference because the businesses, let's say a business has that mandate where they say you can't do this without a vaccine. That's the business making that decision. Whereas this is coming from the state government. That's where it gets a bad look.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, if I were a political advisor, I would have said maybe just let's shoot for that, but don't say it out loud. Don't say the dirty part out loud. That was the problem. So I'm trying to look at it and give him the benefit of the doubt. I think it was just a bad political move, but otherwise he's done a good job on some things. Some things I disagree.
Yeah. Let's hope we get to 2.5 minutes. If we don't, then that's.
Well, speaking of Governor Beshear, Tyler. He recently signed a bill aimed at making voting in Kentucky a little easier for many folks across the bluegrass. The bill will allow online absentee voting, voting supercenters where folks from different areas of different precincts can vote in one area of a county, 3 days of in-person voting for registered voters, that's early voting, and an absentee ballot drop box. Those are going to become permanent fixtures in Kentucky voting. What are your thoughts on these measures in general?
I think it's great. I will say, I think we need more than this. This was a good step, I think, but I would have actually liked to have seen more legislation passed to make it easier for people to vote.
Like what?
I think the biggest thing I would like to see, because if I read this correctly, it allows for like 3 days before the election, up to 3 days that you can do the. You can go in and vote.
Early voting.
Early voting.
3 days. Mm-hmm.
I would like to see just kind of a universal, no requirement, no excuse have to be given to do an absentee ballot. I would like to see universal absentee ballots for anybody who wants to do it.
For what length of time? Because this is where, I get the 3 day early voting. I do have a problem where I see some states are doing like 30 days early. It's like, come on, dude. Now let's 30 days.
Well, because you have to allow time for it to be mailed out, for people to request them, for it to be sent to them, for them to send it back in. So you've got to. You probably got to do 30 days just to allow for it to be processed through the mail.
I don't know. I like early voting. I am for people voting more. Right, I like people to have better access to voting, whatever that is, assuming it's secure, and I have no reason to believe it's not secure at this point. But I don't know. When you start getting past 30 days, I get a little bit nervous. I'm like, okay, participate in the process. A lot can change in the last 30 days. How many October surprises have we seen in presidential elections that could totally change your vote?
That's true. Charles Booker would have probably won the primary against Amy McGrath if people hadn't voted.
That's what I'm saying. I do like having it closer to election time for reasons like that. But we'll just have to see how it plays out because I could give my opinion on it now, but we really don't know. I don't know how this is going to play out until it's implemented.
Yeah, but I'm glad to see this because the fact, and I've said this on the show before, the fact we still hold elections on a Tuesday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. when the majority of people are at work or driving to work or coming home from work. Can we make it any more difficult for people that have a job to try to vote? So I am glad we're at least extending it. You can go vote the weekend before. I think it's a step in the right direction. Glad we actually had something kind of bipartisan actually get passed in our state.
What a concept, huh?
It's amazing.
It is crazy. What we got next time?
All right. Brandon, it is spring, which means many high school seniors are nervously awaiting their acceptance letters from their college applications. Many received good news this past week.
Great.
Many got an email that they had been accepted to the University of Kentucky's College of Health Sciences program. Congratulations to all of you that got this email acceptance letter. There was just one problem, though.
Okay.
This program usually accepts 35 to 40 students, and they mistakenly sent the email to 500,000 high school seniors, many of which had not even applied to UK. So the university had to send another email apologizing for their mistake, saying it was a, quote, technical issue. Brandon, how in the world does this happen? And do you think UK should have to bite the bullet and accept all 500,000 kids?
Oh, boy, Tyler. It would take several more universities to be able to house these kids. So that would be interesting, first of all. It would be great for the economy in Lexington.
It would.
If 500,000 people just showed up. People screw up. This was a massive screw up, and hopefully the person that did it has a stern talking to. Because
they did.
I'm looking at the numbers. 500,000 in a program that accepts 30 to 50, probably not going to work. I don't know how this happens, and even if you were thinking about UK and you see errors like this, it makes you think, God, that university doesn't really have its stuff together. Do I really want to go there?
That's a good point. It's a bad look.
It's a bad look. I mean, I'm not saying that to put down the university. I'm just saying logistically, if you're a student and one place is right on top of their game sending you updates and then one sending you acceptance letters for a program that you're not even applying to, you're like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be disappointing for a lot of kids, though, that the ones who actually did apply and got this acceptance letter. But I just think it's hilarious. Like there's kids in New Mexico somewhere that, oh, hey mom, I just got accepted to UK. Honey, did you even apply to UK? No, but
I mean that's a side note, mom. Come on, they knew about me.
Yeah, again, a bad look, and boy, the person who hit send on that was not having a good day. I bet.
You think it's one of those where they hit the send button and they're like, oh. God.
Immediately realized it.
No, and they go running through the hallway and they're freaking out. They don't know what to do. That's the way I envisioned it, at least.
I hope so. That would be great.
That's my dream scenario. Tyler, some interesting new security changes coming up. If you're aware, I think on the last show that we recorded, we talked about the incident at UK Chandler Hospital where someone basically walked in. There was a bomb scare. There were weapons involved, and it could have been really bad, but luckily everything was thwarted by the police. One of my favorite words, thwarted.
Yeah, don't get to say that word very often.
No, you don't.
Thwarted.
But now there will be police with metal detectors inside of a UK Chandler Hospital when you go in. Tyler, do you like the new security measure? Do you think it's going to cause people just too much panic? What are your thoughts on it?
Honestly, I would like to see more security measures at more places. I think we need security. I would feel much safer going into a movie theater if we had these security measures. Going into a hospital, going into the Fayette Mall, like. I think we're reaching a point that we're just having so many of these instances. I mean, why not? What's the downside? I mean, how long does it really take to walk through a metal detector? Like a few seconds?
Well, let me tell you the downside. If you're a movie theater, it costs a lot of money to have somebody go through and do that. If you're hiring the police to do it, and some of these businesses are already kind of scraping by as it is. So you do have to look at it as an expense. Now, if you're sitting there saying, wow, I wish I would have paid that person to stop this crime, well, then, yeah, it makes sense. But you're just taking the risk that crime's not going to happen in your facility. So, I mean, I'm for it. In a place like a hospital, it's a really sensitive area. It's a large gathering area. Why not? The bigger hospitals like this one at Chandler Medical Center can afford it.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, but if you're asking me to do it at the local mom-and-pop store, yeah, if they don't do it, I'm not going to be upset about it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, but my kind of thought is just any place where there's a large, like a mall, like a movie theater, where there are hundreds of people coming in, I wouldn't mind seeing this at all places like that. Honestly,
no, that's fair. That's fair.
Doesn't bother me at all.
Okay, good to know. What we got next, Tyler?
Okay, Brandon, I am excited about a new movie coming out. I may actually go to the theater and see this. I've not been to a movie in I can't even tell you how long. But there is a movie coming out documenting a notorious killing here in Kentucky about an informant, the killing of an informant by a federal agent,
Ooh.
is set for release next month. It is titled Above Suspicion, and it features none other than Game of Thrones star Emilia Clarke, who you may know as...
Khaleesi.
Yeah, Khaleesi, Daenerys, Mother of Dragons, whatever you like to call
She's
her.
got 50 names. Yeah.
But the movie is actually set in Pikeville and was filmed. Part of it was filmed here in Lexington, part in Harlan County, part of it was filmed in Bourbon County. Brandon, are you excited about this movie? And what do you think the Queen of Dragons thought about being in Eastern Kentucky? Assuming she was there, because it said it was filmed in Harlan County.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that. I mean, first of all, if it's in Pikeville, I'm hoping that she got to go to the local Applebee's there and to the Walmart Supercenter. You can change your tires there, Tyler. I don't know if you know that. It's one of the few places in that part of the state. We grew up there, so we can talk about this, where you can go get your groceries and have your tires changed at the same time. What a beautiful thing. The mother of dragons may not have been aware of that. So I'm excited to see it. Anything related to Kentucky, I think, is a good thing. We need to promote the state as much as we can. We'll take all we can get. And I think it's cool as hell that one of the Game of Thrones actresses has supposedly been here.
Yeah, she was somewhere. She was either in Lexington or Harlan County or Bourbon County.
I mean, that's awesome. Hopefully she got to
I
do
wish
a
I would have
distillery
known
tour.
this.
I know. What would you say if you ran into her if you were at Malone's?
Oh, man.
Would you go up to her and ask for an autograph?
I don't know. I feel like you got to have something clever to say, right?
Yeah. Can I have your autograph? That's a great icebreaker right there.
Yeah. What do you think about if she was in Harlan County? Isn't Harlan the Harlan City School? Isn't there a mascot, the Green Dragons?
Oh,
So the fact the Mother of Dragons was at a
total missed opportunity for
mean,
Game of Thrones. I mean, they should have
absolutely.
eaten this up and said, "Hey, while you're there, get a picture in front of this." Oh, I can't believe we missed that.
Yeah.
Time. That's unbelievable.
This is why I should have been a marketing major.
Yeah, I know. It's not like you don't have your MBA or anything, right? They need to get you on board, Tyler. That's what I'm saying. But very interesting. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm excited.
Yeah. So, Tyler, a recent survey showed that close to 42% of Americans don't plan to stimulate the economy with their stimulus, but they're going to choose to save it. Now, this is a stimulus check, Tyler. We mockingly call it the stimmy.
Yes.
For good reason, because it was meant to stimulate the economy.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on 42% of the population saving their stimulus money?
I still think whether people are saving it or spending it, I think putting this money in people's hands is still better than whatever the government would have actually spent it on. I mean, how much government waste do we have year after year? So why not put some money in people's pockets? I mean, we're taxed to death. I mean, it would have been better for the economy probably if people had spent it, but I still think with all the waste we have in government, to put some money in people's bank accounts, and people probably eventually maybe they're just saving up for a big vacation. They're going to eventually spend it, I would assume.
But this is for stimulus now,
I got
Tyler.
no problem with it.
Okay, now first of all, I'll say that it's everybody's money. They can do whatever the heck they want with it. You got a check, man, it's yours. You can save it, spend it, you can give it away, whatever the heck you want to do. I will say, if you were looking at stimulating the economy, this is really interesting. We had this discussion before. Give it to the people that are out of work, right? I mean, I would have given it to them. I don't know why we blanketed it to so many people. That's the part. When you talk about how much money does the government waste, some people would look at this and say, wow, we just wasted a lot on these because we gave it to a lot of people that didn't really need it, correct? Mm-hmm. I think you do give it to people that need it because of the pandemic, but if you really wanted to give it to people that would spend it, you would give it to the people that already had money in their bank account so they could just blow it somewhere. If that's the goal, or is it just to appease people? And I think it's option two. I think it's just meant to appease people and for government to say, oh, look what we did for you. We gave you $1,400 over the last year.
Yeah, it made me happy, I'll be honest.
No, that's what I'm saying. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. But if the goal is truly stimulus, then it went into the wrong hands.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, but, I mean, hey, it's your money.
Yeah.
I'd do whatever. You could put it in a bathtub. You could go to the bank and get it all in $1 bills, put it in your bathtub, take a picture on Facebook and say, enjoying my stimmy. I don't care.
Yeah.
I would I might do that myself.
Like Harry and Lloyd just wiping their nose with $100 bills.
Yeah, but it's your money. Do with it as you wish.
All right, Brandon, some news about Disney. The happiest place on earth is updating their dress code policy.
Great.
To give employees, or as they like to call them, cast members,
yes,
more flexibility and personal expression. The announcement from Disney said this includes more gender-inclusive hairstyles, jewelry, nail styles, costume choices, and appropriate tattoos. What do you think of Disney's efforts to create a more inclusive workplace?
It's fine. I mean, if it's like Office Space where you can express yourself with more pieces of flair.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Good
perfect. It's perfectly fine. Just express it as long as you're somewhat professional. I mean, what's it matter? I've never, some places will say, well, you can't have tattoos. You have to have a shortcut or whatever. No, as long as you're doing your job. I'd rather have somebody that's doing their job that has a mohawk than somebody that's a complete jerk that has a crew cut or something. Just do good work and don't scare people. That's it.
Don't scare people.
Don't scare people. Don't be a jerk and do good work. And those are few and far between these days. I would take that 100 times. If somebody comes in with purple hair and they're the nicest person in the world, and somebody comes in with a haircut like me and you and they're a jerk, I'm taking the person with the purple hair. What do I care? I just want good customer service and a good product for my customers.
Yeah, that's true. But what about the people who are portraying these Disney princesses? My girls, when we go to Disney, they're all about meeting the princesses. They want to see Belle and Cinderella and Ariel, all those people. I mean, so, is Cinderella going to have, a tattoo sleeve up her arms? She's going to be all tatted up now?
Probably. There's probably going to be a remake of it, and it's going to be tatted Ariel.
I mean, doesn't that kind of take away from the whole experience?
Well, it does, but I think in those particular situations you have to make exceptions because you're portraying a character that already exists. If you're talking about people that already are just working, making the hamburgers, or they're part of guest relations, I think that's a different story. But if you're trying to fit into a certain costume, first of all, you have to look the part. I think in that case you have to be a little bit more discriminatory because it's part of the job. And there's a lot of legalese. I learned this a little bit in business school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can discriminate because you're trying to fit into a certain character. But if you're just Joe Schmo and you're just working the job there, you can have tattoos, do whatever the heck you want. Just do a good job. But if you're Ariel, you probably don't want to have tattoos everywhere. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, that was kind of the first thing that crossed my mind. I was like, well, what about the characters? My kids are going to be having a lot of questions if, Cinderella has pink hair or a nose ring or whatever.
Then they don't get to do it. So that's part of it. I mean, when you do dress like that, you do take yourself out of the running for certain things, right? There's certain things you can't do because you have to look somewhat like the part. And if you can't do that, then you just have to do other jobs.
Yeah.
But as far as hiring and firing, I say just, be fair, hire them. If they do a good job, keep them, but that's just me.
Okay. Yeah. And Cinderella can't have pink hair.
Cinderella can't have pink hair. That's correct. Tyler, this is probably the scariest news to me of the last 2 or 3. I am petrified of this. I've lost sleep over it.
Oh, gosh. This must be serious.
It is serious. Okay.
I'm kind of nervous, but okay. Tell me what it is.
And I'm getting choked up thinking about it, too. Tyler, there is a national ketchup shortage.
What?
There is a national ketchup shortage. Tyler, supply chains are being stretched, and restaurant chains are limiting the amount of ketchup packets being given to customers because there is a supply chain shortage. There's even some restaurants using generic ketchup where they would normally give you the name brand.
Is this because of the Suez Canal?
Everything's because I'm going to blame everything on that for the next year. Oh, it's the Suez Canal. Okay. But, Tyler, this is very depressing news for me. As I look for any excuse to dip something in ketchup, what does this mean to you?
Well, as we have discussed previously on this show, I do not eat ketchup. So this, I don't really care if there's a ketchup shortage, but I understand it.
What if there was a bourbon shortage?
Impacts a lot of people.
What if there was a bourbon shortage, Tyler? What would that do to you? What's a condiment you like?
Salt. Is that a condiment?
What if there was a salt shortage? What if you went and you tasted your food and there was no salt in it?
It would be devastating. But I mean, my understanding is that it's only the packets of ketchup that's the shortage.
Correct.
Like you can still get the the big bottles.
Yes.
Like if you go in to eat, they'll have your big Heinz 57 sitting there. It's just the little packets of ketchup.
It's the packets. That's correct. And that just goes to show that you don't know anything about ketchup, Tyler, because Heinz 57 is not ketchup. That is a sauce.
Oh.
That's all right.
What's the it's Heinz ketchup?
Heinz ketchup.
Oh, I just added the 57 in by mistake.
Yeah,
that's the steak sauce, isn't it? Heinz 57.
Tyler, anything else you want to say about sauces? I can't wait to hear your expertise about sauces. This is great.
This is why I'm not in the restaurant
Keep
industry.
talking, Tyler. This is
I would
great.
have a Heinz 50, I would bring out some Heinz 57 with everybody's French fries. There you go.
Oh,
why is everybody so upset?
Yeah, why is nobody coming back? Why am I getting all these bad reviews on Yelp? Now, I'm really nervous about it because, I mean, I travel a lot for work, and those ketchup packets really get you through. And when they start asking, oh, how many do you need? I don't like that. I was at a restaurant recently, I won't name it, and they said, how many do you need? Whereas before, I was like, can I get some ketchup? Okay. And they bring out like a bucket, like, tell me when to stop. Almost there, okay. So I don't like it, man. I love ketchup. The only reason I eat fries is so I can dip them in ketchup, Tyler.
Fair.
I don't know. I'm upset about it. I'm really upset about it. And speaking of food, this is really important. If you recall, Tyler, a few episodes ago, we made it to the final 4 of our Sweet 16 candy bar bracket.
We did
you
indeed.
Remember that, right?
Yes. It's been a while, but I do recall this.
Yeah, we got to the final 4, and we need to really narrow this down, Tyler. I want to try to pick a winner tonight if we don't come out with a tie where we have to put it out to vote. Okay?
All right, so we had last time, those of you who have listened the last few weeks, Hershey's did advance to the finals. So we have Hershey's already, and then we had a tie last time between Reese Cups and Kit Kat bars.
Yep.
So we put it up to vote, and I don't know if you're aware of this, Brandon, if you followed the vote, but there was a little bit. I'm going to let you decide this because
okay.
We put this up to vote on Twitter, and shockingly, at least to me, Kit Kat won the Twitter vote, which blew me away. I thought Reese's was going to win this in a landslide. Reese's won the Facebook vote, but not by enough to outweigh the Twitter vote. But then I also shared this on my personal Facebook account, and Reese's won that in a landslide, and that would give Reese's more votes. So I'm going to let you decide, Brandon. Do we include the votes that I shared on my personal Facebook account, or do we only include the people who voted on the Lex Buds and Pick and Roll accounts?
Oh, boy.
I'm going because I don't want you to say, "Oh, it's Tyler's friend who put this over the top." I'm going to let you make the call here. What do you think?
All right, here's my decision, Ty. This is really critical because there's a lot to think about, and we just talked about including votes in the show.
We did.
We talked about making it easier to vote. Part of me says, okay, these are your personal friends. And that could skew because you're going to, there's probably some science out there that says if you like Reese Cups, you're going to hang out with other people that like Reese Cups.
Oh, is that how it works?
There's science out there.
Okay.
So part of me thinks, okay, well, because you put it out there and you're a Reese Cup lover, then you're going to just put it into this echo chamber of other Reese lovers, and they're going to say, of course it's Reese. If we're looking at the objective measure, when we put it out on our LexBuds account on Twitter, objectively, Kit Kat is better. However, in the spirit of this show, Tyler, in this episode, we talked about making it easier to vote and the new abilities for people to vote in different ways. In this case, I'm going to lean towards giving people easier access to voting.
Wow. Look at you,
votes.
you liberal. Look
Oh,
at you
God.
expanding access to vote. I don't believe it. Just call you Andy from now on.
I don't have exact evidence of fraud, although I suspect some fishy activity.
No, listen, this was completely neutral. I just posted a picture of each. I said Kit Kat versus Reese's. I even put it alphabetical, so I listed Kit Kat first.
I'm just gonna say it counts, Tyler. So that puts Reese's in the championship game with Hershey's.
Wow. I mean, to me, this is Baylor versus Gonzaga. These are in my mind, these are the two best teams going at it.
This is it. I mean, in my opinion, I would say Hershey's is like the UNC or Kentucky. They're the dominant brand that's been around forever. They've been around for 100 years.
Yep.
They've got a tradition unlike any other, right? But then the Reese's is, they're up and coming. They're your Baylors. They're strong. They're consistent. People like them, and now they're going to break through, and they may be able to break that tradition, Tyler. So I'm going to lean on you with this. You're the one that came up with the candy bar bracket, Tyler. You are the one that's completely responsible for this, and it's been very successful. I'll let you go first and tell me your breakdown on the Reese's versus Hershey's. This is big.
Okay.
This is the championship. We spent weeks on this.
We have.
Let me hear your argument.
All right. I agree with you. Hershey's is kind of the traditional power. It is a classic. You can never go wrong with a Hershey bar. You will never eat a Hershey bar and be like, oh, I wish I hadn't eaten that. I mean, it is just a solid choice. You got your ability to put it on a s'more, which adds a whole other dimension of it. But if we strip everything away, if we take away, if we just look at them individually, we're not putting them on a s'more. We're not taking Reese cups. We're not including all the the Reese minis or all the different varieties. We're just looking at just the Hershey bar itself versus just the Reese cup. I've said many times there is no better combination of chocolate and peanut butter. We went to Crank and Boom last night after
Crank
dinner.
and Boom. Great local ice cream.
Yeah. And I got 2 scoops. I got 1 scoop of chocolate, and I got 1 scoop of peanut butter. Because you mix them together.
Right up your alley.
There is no better combination. You get the sweetness of the chocolate, the saltiness of the peanut butter. You get the little ridges around the peanut butter cup. I don't know what it is about those ridges that just make it taste. I guess it's kind of like Ruffles potato chips. Yeah. There's something about those ridges that make it taste better.
Yeah, they're ridged for your pleasure.
Or something like that. Sure.
Yeah, isn't that the saying?
Yeah, something like that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail.
Maybe that can be Reese's new slogan.
They're never going to use that, but go on.
So, for me, in my mind, I have said from the beginning, Reese's is my favorite. I'm sticking with them. Ooh. I got to go Reese Cups over the Hershey bar. I have a feeling we're going to end up in a tie here.
All right.
But I will ask you, who are you going with?
So if we end up in a tie, it's going to a vote. Okay. So let me say this. Reese's, I get it. I understand. It's a unique taste. It's a unique form factor as it's in a cup. So it's not technically a candy bar, but it's in the candy bar section, so we got to do it. So it's got a unique form factor, and they do change it up based on the season and the holiday. Right? They have certain like Halloween ones. They have different,
the Reese egg is the best Reese.
So, I mean, I give credit for that, okay? They're very creative. However, Hershey's, I mean, they started this whole thing. Without Hershey's, there's no Reese's. Hershey's found that there was a demand for chocolate in this country. They kept it very consistent. It's a brown bar of chocolate in a wrapper.
Yep.
The marketing department at Hershey's has to be like this big.
They're not spending a lot of money.
Hey, Bob, are we sticking with the silver and brown? Okay, for the 100th year in a row? Got it. Sounds good, Bob. We're going to do that.
So, all right, Bob's like, my work is done for today.
I'm going to cash my check. Wait on my... Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the easiest job in the world's got to be Hershey's marketing, right? But, Hershey's has been around for so long, so I have to give that credit too. But I'm going to surprise you, Tyler. I don't eat Reese Cups. But I have never seen anything in my life like the fever that comes out in Reese Cup fans. I don't know what's inside these things because I don't eat them. I don't like them at all. I don't like them cold. I don't like them in ice cream. I don't like them just off the shelf. I just don't like them. However, when you mention the word Reese's on our Twitter or Facebook, people go into a panic. And they have to come to the rescue of Reese's as I've tried to take it out during this whole tournament.
Yeah, even though Kit Kat won the vote on Twitter, people were commenting like, how in the hell did this happen? Like, people were shocked.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of controversy. So, I'm going to surprise you, Tyler. I like Hershey's way better. I think it is a better product for me. But after hearing from so many listeners and so many voters, so many fever-pitched voters, I'm going to give the edge to Reese's.
Wow.
I'm going to give it to Reese's.
I don't believe it.
I'm going to give it to Reese's, which means, Tyler, what does that mean?
We have a champion. One shining moment.
The ball is tipped. You look at it and then you knew that one shining moment. Okay.
And everybody just hit close on there.
There is a fast forward button on the podcast. But yeah, I'm going to give it to Reese's. This is a big deal. This is our first annual candy bar bracket, and even though I tried to take it out in every single round, and I mean every round, Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final Four, I've tried to take this thing out, and it would not die. because of that perseverance, they deserve to be the winner.
Wow. Way to be! I applaud your objectivity, sir.
I'm just in a good mood. I'm almost done with my bourbon. You caught me at a good time.
Well, yeah. You're tired of putting up the fight against Reese's. I feel like you've given up. Reese's has defeated you, and
well, no, it's the people. It's the people that want it. If it wasn't for the people and the fever pitch that comes with voting for Reese's, I wouldn't have done it. But people are very excited about their Reese's, and I have to acknowledge that at some point, even though I may personally disagree. And that's my mantra for life, Tyler. Even if I disagree with someone, I'll listen.
That's what we do on this show.
We just summed up our show in a Reese cup.
Exactly. Our show is a Reese cup.
Maybe on the next show we can celebrate by toasting a Reese cup. They come in a 2-pack, right? Maybe we eat them on there.
And we can share.
Look at that. Sharing is caring. I love it. Sharing is caring.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations to Reese Cups. They join Chick-fil-A as the other winners of our brackets that we have done over the course of this show. Of course, Chick-fil-A won our fast food bracket
and that
earlier.
Was a heck of a bracket. Heck of a bracket.
So maybe we could celebrate with Chick-fil-A and Reese Cups for dessert.
Not if we record on a Sunday.
No, that's true.
Chick-fil-A is closed.
Dang it.
Dang it. We'll have to either record on a different day or just reheat it when we get on a Saturday. But, Tyler, I think this has been a very fun show. I've enjoyed this third. We have covered a lot of ground in an hour.
It's good to be back.
It is good to be back. It's been too long. But, I mean, circumstances happen. We're two full-time working dads.
Yeah.
And stuff happens.
Life happens sometimes. That's right.
But we are back better than ever and ready just to keep going on. So, as always, on Twitter, follow us at LexBuds. If you want to be in tune with these polls that we just talked about on the candy bar bracket, at LexBuds on Twitter. Search us on Facebook, LexBuds and Pick and Roll, on the YouTubes, on basically the internets. Type in the word LexBuds and you will find us. I guarantee that whether you want us to see us or not, we're going to pop up when you type in the word LexBuds. That's right, Tyler.
Absolutely. If you would please, if you're not already, hit that subscribe button on the podcast feed wherever you're listening to us. And please do give us a follow on Twitter.
Yep.
We have... I mean, I think our Twitter account is hilarious.
It's great.
Personally.
It's great information and very unique and funny.
Yeah. If you don't follow us, you missed out. During the national championship game, I summarized the entire game in nothing but GIFs from Dumb and Dumber. That's the kind of content you're missing out on.
That's
if
worth
you're
its
not
weight in
giving
gold.
us a follow.
That's worth its weight in gold, Tyler. You know, when we started the show, I never thought we'd see the day where we do that, and we did it.
We did.
I like it. Well, anyway, we'll be back next week for a brand new episode, and we will see you soon.
Stay classy, Kentucky.